Hello and welcome from my very messy workspace. I have an exciting thing that I just got in the mail. And this is a new palette from DeepDeepLight, and it is to mark a most momentous and special occasion, which is the birth of Dana's new baby Albert. And the palette, I wanted to film this. I won't share it until they've shared it, but I received it today. It's in a new tin. It just feels so nice. And it's called Merry-Go-Round the Flowery Field. And it has some new colors in it. It is a bright, light, beautiful palette, and it has 3 or 4 new colors in it. So before I open them up, I wanted to film this, and then I will swatch them after I open them all. I will swatch them for you and do a little painting. But let's just go over the colors as they appear here. So we have light yellow. I believe that's a color that's not a new color. Royal yellow. I think this is a new color. Gold ochre. Burgundy ochre. This is new. Rosa magenta. Mayan red. Gerda's pink. Manor red. That's a new color. Cherry blossom. Albert's Muss, M-U-S-S. Albert's Muss. This is a new color. In honor of little Albert. Root's Dream. Night Raspberry. Is it just me, or does Root's Dream seem to have some shimmer in it now? That would be fun. Forget-Me-Not. Deep Blue. French Ultramarine. Mineral Blue, that's a new color. Wagon Green is a new color. So there's several new colors. Solstice Fern. Chrome Green. And Captain's Gray, and that's a new color. So several new colors in this set, which is super exciting, right? So there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new colors. So I am so excited to open these up and swatch them, but I just wanted to show you how beautiful they are before I did that. And I actually even want to take a picture of it because it's such a kaleidoscope, isn't it? It's like the rainbow. It is stunning. And rainbow palettes are so versatile. We have like not 1 yellow, but 4 yellows, and you can get such a wide range of like greens with 4 yellows, right? 4 reds, 4 violets, 4 blues, and 4 greens. I mean, that is phenomenal. So this is a palette with tremendous possibilities, right? All right, I'm going to take a photograph of it, and then I'm going to open them all up, and then I will be back to swatch them for you. Okay, so I've wet these paints. I just put a drop of water on each of them. I took some photographs, and I just want to swatch them. This is just Canson XL paper. Nothing too crazy. All right. So this is light yellow. Royal yellow. So we've got right away warm and a cool yellow, both fairly transparent, which is wonderful. And then we've got gold ochre, which is an old favorite of mine. It is a fairly transparent natural yellow earth, a very ancient pigment that is super useful in mixing everything. And this is a new one. This is burgundy yellow ochre, and it's just a little bit more yellow ochre-y, right? Beautiful textures happening immediately. It's just got a little bit more brown in it. So you could actually probably use it as a raw sienna if you didn't want a lot of, you know how raw sienna is just an earthier, more brown? You could probably use it the same way you would use a raw sienna. We'll see. This is Rosso Magenta. So it is a perfect primary red, a pure magenta. And along with the light yellow and really the royal yellow and the ultramarine blue and the deep blue, you should be able to mix anything. I mean, that right there is a fantastic mixing palette. So all of these other colors. And then you've got Mayan red, which it's still on the cool side. It's not a warm red, but it's also very, very transparent and can be super useful. It's a lot warmer than Rosso Magenta, but it's still not a true warm red. However, adding a little bit of the royal yellow to it would make it really tomatoey and warm. Gerda's Pink is one of my very favorites. It is a mix that Agnes, her daughter, Gerda, asked for. It is an incredible color, and I've probably, besides Mother Earth Gray, I've probably gone through more of this than any other color. I just really, really love Gerda's Pink. And then this was a new one. Now I'm forgetting what it was called. What was it called? Well, I said it in the beginning. I just cannot remember it right now. But it's like a red earth or a Venetian red is what it reminds me of, to be honest with you. So really rich and dark in mass. And then when you put a lot of water into it, it becomes like this pearly pink, right? Beautiful, beautiful, sort of dusty pink. This is Cherry Blossom, which is another favorite of mine. It's a very cool pink with a little bit of zinc white in it, the color of sakura blossoms. And this is Albert's color. I'm excited to see this one. Albert's Muss. Ah, that is gorgeous. It's like a dusty mauve that separates. It's almost like having a violet hematite that's lighter. Oh, that is really beautiful. That's a special one. Gorgeous. Wow. This is Ruta's Dream, which is a really unusual color. It's got all sorts of things happening in it. And you'll see hints of blue and hints of gray and hints of green, and then some magenta popping through. Night Raspberry is also an incredible mix. It's very deep, like an indigo, but when you use it, it becomes the most perfect night sky. It's got violet in it and blue and black, and it's stunning. That's another one of the colors I use a tremendous amount. This is incredible. Yeah, the new Albert color. Forget Me Not is a beautiful, sweet, peaceful blue. So gorgeous, and has hints of lavender in it. And then deep blue will make a great mixing blue. It's almost like Prussian blue. So if you need a cool blue for mixing, that's a good one. French ultramarine, we all know. PB29, can't live without it, right? It's really one of the only true warm blues. And then this one is Mineral Blue. And this is a new color. Oh, that is beautiful. I'll be excited to learn more about this one. It looks like it has nice lifting properties. It's got a little bit of granulation, maybe some flocculation. It goes pretty dark. You can get some good mass, right? But then you get this pearly, gorgeous neutral blue, maybe leaning. I'm not sure. It's sort of neutral. This is Wagon Green. This is a new green. That is stunning. You see the purple separating out and the forget-me-not? It's beautiful for painting hydrangeas too. Wow, that is super beautiful. Yeah. DeepDeepLight's greens. This is Solstice Fern, another favorite. It's just going to be a little bit warmer. This is like a gray green. This is a warm green. And this is chrome green, which is a pure chromium oxide green, which is a stronger, more opaque green. But you'll notice with their greens that they're very natural looking. You don't have to do a whole lot to them, but you can, right? You can mix blue into any of these greens and make it cooler. You can mix gold into any of them and make it warmer. You can mix orange or red into them and make them more muted. So make them olivey, right? Really useful. And this last one is the new gray, and it's a warm gray. Whereas Mother Earth gray is a cool gray, this is a warm gray. That is stunning. It's got some red earth. Oh, wow, that is really beautiful. These are, the new colors are stunning. Maybe royal yellow is not new. Maybe it's not new. I wonder what happens with Albert's new color and this gray. That might be a really gorgeous combo. Some interesting things happening there. And then even a little Ruta stream. Yeah. So many possibilities in a palette like this, right? You've got some colors that are very, very unique and special on their own. The way they granulate, the way they separate and create many colors from one, right? And yet, they all mix beautifully together. And you can make even new and surprising mixes. Like, if you took this mineral, I'm going to take some mineral blue, and I'm going to mix it on my palette. And just put a touch of Rosa Magenta in there. You're going to get the most gorgeous violet, right? Just clear, beautiful violet, but it's going to have separation properties, right? It's not just going to be like a solid color. It's going to branch off into all different colors as it moves and mingles and dries on the page, right? Even if you took something like Mayan Red with, let's see, with the new green. First, if you just put a little bit of green, you get sort of an earthy mauve. And then if you put more of the green, you get a beautiful brown. To clean my paints already. I am the worst at keeping paints clean. But see what happens as it dries and you push water into it and stick it up next to other beautiful colors. is you start creating all of these nuances, right? That can be really tricky to create with just single pigments. So that's why I love having these sort of palettes of special colors. With this palette, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the split primaries. You've got the, an earth that can help bring everything earthier. And then you've got all of these unique colors that can help you make a broad spectrum of nuance. And that's what's so enticing to me, right, about paints like this. And these are so well made. They wet so beautifully. I'm going to clean them up. Already making a mess. They wet so beautifully. This new red is very beautiful. Let's just see what happens if I use ultramarine with that red. So I get like a plummy violet with this. So you can make all different kinds of purples, right? Wow. Yeah, super beautiful. This is tremendous. All right, I'll let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and just sort of paint freely. I'm going to paint some just wildflowers with this new palette. Okay, so I want to just paint with these now. Last night before I went to bed, I just drew some quick pen and ink drawings and used them. Just, I don't know, I was just feeling like messing around, and but that's not what I want to do today. But I think I'll just, I don't want to waste a piece of paper, so I'm just going to paint up here. And these are the paints once they've dried. They're just gorgeous. And this is not great paper. This is Canson XL paper. But the paints dried beautifully on this paper. So I can't even imagine them on really good paper. All right. So what I thought I would do is just paint a little floral, just some flowers, just paint them across here. And I'm just going to use a little Chinese brush. I'm going to use my palette to mix. And I've already got some nice mix on there, so I'll use that. But if I were to mix for this flower, I think I'd probably use the Captain's Gray. Maybe just that, with a little touch of blue in it or something, which was on my palette already. So let's just see what happens. I'm gonna use my yellow. And a little bit of the royal yellow. And let's see here. It's very dark today, so hopefully you can see well. But sometimes I'm just painting little daisies, and you know, when we're using white paper, we can use a pale gray to represent the petals and be absolutely fine with it if some of the yellow bleeds into it. And I think I'll try the new green. I know Solstice Fern works great, but I think I'll try some of the new green. wagon green, right? I always think of wagons as being red, but I mix a little solstice fern in there. Sweet. How about a cornflower? Forget-me-not is the perfect cornflower color. I didn't wet the paints first. I should have, but I didn't. Those cornflower petals are so pretty. And I love Forget-Me-Not because it eventually becomes like a mix between blue and lavender. It's just got this beautiful way of separating. I'll take a little bit of ultramarine. Then I'll take some ultramarine and mix it with a little bit of rosa magenta and get some violet happening. A little bit more. So there's a violet tint there. As it dries, I can make it a little bit darker. I'm going to go to Solstice Fern now. I honestly can't remember what these leaves look like, so I'm just going to improvise. I know, but I can't remember. I think they're very stiff actually. They kind of go up an upward direction. They've got like a sheath that goes down the second part of the stem. The stem gets very wide and ribbed, I have a feeling. So then I'm going to go in with the darker mineral blue. I want to keep it in the blue range, or I can even use what's here, and then take some of that gray. So you got to get your darks in this palette from mixes. Some of them are dark, but not real dark. So I'm going to go into Night Raspberry and stick some of that in there. A little bit of the the Captain's Gray to even it out, and then I'm just going to put a little bit here. And there's just a little bit of depth in that flower. I'm going to take a little bit of gold ochre, drop it into that leaf. I'm just playing, right? This is nothing earth-shattering. I'm going to take the Rosa Magenta now and put some of that on my palette. And this is a really intense color, so I can take some of the palette gray and mix it in, because I don't want it quite as intense as some. I can even take some of the Captain's Gray and mix it in, so it becomes more of like a raspberry color. And I'm going to paint a clover. The clovers have these little sweet dispositions, don't they? Okay. And then into the clover color, I'll mix something else on the palette just to make it a little bit darker, like so some of that, and drop some of that darker color in toward the bottom. Gives it some form. And I think I'll use the new green for my first little layer. And clovers have 3 leaves that kind of come out the top. And then they've got a nice stem. And they've got and then eventually we get other kinds of leaves happening. But at the top, they definitely have just those long, pointy leaves. Love that. What else could I paint? Can use the Mayan red. And I'm going to warm it up a little bit. So a little bit of Mayan red. And then I'm going to put a tiny bit of warm yellow in there, the royal yellow. I feel like just a touch of the Rosa Magenta. And I'll make a papery poppy leaf. This leaf maybe comes this way. One here. And then give myself a stem and some lovely, delicate poppiness. And then as it dries, I can make a darker color. And just take the darkest colors on this palette, which would be mineral blue, night raspberry. Get some of those on this palette. Add some of this beautiful red, the earthy red. And then a little bit of the burgundy ochre, more of the night raspberry. So I get a nice dark color. And just pop that into the center and let it bleed out a little bit. Again, I'm not going for exact realism, right? I'm going to go back to my Mayan red. And I'm going to darken that a little bit with some green. Any of the greens would be fine, but you want to mix red with green until it mutes out a little bit, and then I could go in and just touch some of the petals that are underneath or towards the center and give the petals a little bit of depth and dimension. just by touching it a little bit. And just keep it super simple. And even sometimes, let me just I'm gonna put some chrome green on here just to feather in some other colors. And sometimes I can just take water when I'm done and just sprinkle it on, right? And when you do that, you're not necessarily making splashes around the flower. I'm not always a big fan of that, but I do it with clean water because what that does sometimes, if it lands, depending on where it lands, it breaks the edges of what you've painted and it gives it a little bit of freedom. Even over here with this one, that one's probably too dry now. But while they're still wet, if you do that, and you can break the edges with some of these little water droplets that appear, I really love that. And then when the rest of them dry, they become transparent. You don't really see them, but you get these little color leaks on the edges of things. And like this will become a very pale green, right? And I really like doing things that way. Yeah, just beautiful. I really, you know, another little plant that I love in the summer are the little butter and eggs or toad flax. And I can start with a light yellow and just put some of the royal yellow. And then a little bit of Mayan red to pull down to give it some orange. And a little bit of purple to give it some depth. Just keep it super simple. Right? And you could make all sorts of them. You could do violas. We've got so many blues and purples here. We could use night raspberry and Ruda's dream. And paint. Just do a mix of the two and do really loose little violas. And use some water. Go in really bright in the center with just water, and then drop in a little bit of color. It's important to just let it be loose, right? That one didn't turn out. That happens sometimes. I probably need to look at one to get the shape, better. I know that they have the two petals up here, and then isn't there one like behind, and then down here it's like one and then two. I think that's how it is. And then you could drop water into the center. Just clear water to push some of that pigment away. And then when it dries, you could go in and add yellow in the center there, yellow and green. And I know that the leaves are kind of heart-shaped, so you could do that too. Then when it dries, you could go in with yellow. But anyways, just fun. So many possibilities, right? There, that's better. All right, everybody. Just fun, really, really fun palette. And I'll be using it a lot, I am sure. And we'll definitely come back and do some other videos with it. But right now, it's just about play. All right, thank you so much. And if you are interested in this palette or any other paints from DeepDeepLight, I will put my ambassador code into the description box for you with a link to their website. It is good for anything you purchase, any paints you purchase on their website. And my patrons have a special discount. So patrons, if you you can get that information from me on Patreon. All right. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And I will see you again very soon. Take care.